Hello guys, thank you very much for joining me with another video. So in this video, I just want to talk you through how I'm feeling and give you an update on my week, what's been happening, and also just talk through a little bit of medical paperwork that I received through the post, which is basically a roundup of my last consultation with the oncologist, just so you can understand a little bit more about what I'm going through with this cancer. So since my last video where I went out on my first run, which was awesome, I've been feeling pretty good physically and mentally. The only issue I've had really this week is that I've had some problems sleeping, which has been really annoying. It's not been a case that I don't think that I've just been sitting up worrying or anything like that. I have been tired and been fairly content, but just been struggling to sleep. And it is a side effect or a potential side effect of the injections that I'm receiving. So maybe that is something that my body's battling with at the moment. I had a good sleep last night though, even though maybe I don't look like it. Bags under my eyes. But yeah, so that's the one thing I'm dealing with, but you know, it's not a massive issue. Perhaps you guys can help in the comments below and give me some suggestions if you've struggled in the past with a bit of insomnia. That'd be really helpful, thank you. But anyway, despite that, I've actually had a really good week so far. So it started off with a bit of a secret visit from some people very close to me who came and did, I suppose, a random act of kindness at my home. So we're quite lucky with this house that we've got a nice space for a back garden. But unfortunately, since we've moved here, which has been embarrassingly quite a long time, it hasn't really been very usable. So when we moved in, the whole garden was decking and it was quite rotten, so it needed removing. So I've been sort of over time removing all the decking, getting rid of that with numerous trips to the tip, and then underneath the decking it was all badly concreted. So I've been smashing up the concrete in order to try and get into a state where we could actually make it into a nice space. Anyway, we also had some renovations done inside the house, and a lot of that waste went into the garden, so the garden looked like a tip in itself. Anyway, unknown to me, these lovely people in my life, they came round when I was out and worked together to fill up a whole skip with all the rubbish from the garden, and I returned home to find a nice clean garden, and a garden that's a proper blank canvas now. So that was lovely, a lovely start to the week. So again, I want to thank those people if they're watching this video, so thank you guys. And the other great thing about this week is now here in the UK, we can actually see some people. We can actually go around someone's house and sit in their garden, which is awesome. So we actually took the trip to go and see my parents, and I haven't seen my parents for far too long. They live sort of 2.5 to 3 hours away in Suffolk, which I've mentioned in my Q&A video. If you haven't watched that video to learn a little bit more about me. But yeah, it's been months and months since I've seen my parents, because we haven't been able to leave our areas. I haven't even seen my parents since getting this cancer diagnosis, so a lot's happened since I last saw them. So it was actually yesterday we went and saw them, and we sat and had lunch. We went up there and back in one day, but it was totally worth it. And yeah, had some lovely lunch that my mum had prepared, and she prepares some good meals, my mum. So yeah, it was lovely to see them. And to add to that, whilst this video's probably going out, I'll be at Jenny's parents, so we're going to go and see her family, which is going to be lovely as well. So things are improving on that front. You know, if you've been going through anything tough in your personal life and things over this time where you've had to deal with it without the help of your extended family, you know, I can really empathise, and I hope for you as well that you're really going to benefit in the next few weeks from starting to be able to see those loved ones again. So things are looking up on that front for certain. And now moving on to the medical side of this video, I suppose. So I've got quite a big week coming up next week. So I've got my next lanreotide injection, which I'm not particularly looking forward to, but I expect the side effects to be less this time than they were last time. Obviously, it's going to hopefully be a bit of a less of a shock to my body, and my body's now had a month to get used to having that medication sort of circulating around. So I've got that coming up, and then the day after that injection, I've actually got my appointment to see the surgeon. Yay! Been waiting for that appointment for quite a long time. So I'm going to see the surgeon, and also on that same day I've got a separate appointment for my pre-operative assessment. Now obviously I don't know if that means whether they actually booked me in. I don't know whether they booked me in to have the operation, so I'm hoping I'm going to turn up and they're going to tell me the date of my first operation, which, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know they're going to operate and remove the primary small intestine tumour along with a lymph node in that first surgery. So I'm really hopeful that they're going to tell me that they've got a date for me. And it kind of makes sense if they're doing a preoperative assessment that they know when my actual operation is going to be. So hopefully I'll have some news for you on that front next week. And I also have a letter here that basically goes over what happened at my last oncologist appointment. So I'm just going to read it through so you can understand a little bit more of what's happening with my cancer. So there is a bit of medical speak in this, so if you love that sort of thing, this is going to be right up your street. I reviewed Mr. Riley in clinic today. Subsequent to his last appointment, this man has had scans, including an MRI liver and dotatate scan. But you know that because you watch my videos, don't you? If you don't, watch them, go back and watch them, and subscribe so you don't miss any more in the future. Anyway, we reviewed these through the NETS MDT, so the multidisciplinary team. So basically, they get together as a group, so you have the oncologist, the surgeons, the radiologists, and I don't know who else, get together and talk about each individual case and what they think their pathway should be, effectively. Anyway, it says, the MRI liver demonstrates multiple lesions in segment 5, 6, 7, 8. These are deemed resectable. So let's just talk about that for a second. So in terms of my knowledge of the liver, I had and have really a very basic understanding of the functions of the liver and the structure of the liver. So the liver is connected to two large blood vessels. So you've got the hepatic artery and the portal vein. And the hepatic artery carries oxygen-rich blood from the aorta, and the portal vein carries nutrient-rich blood from the intestines and also the spleen and the pancreas. So those blood vessels obviously split into smaller vessels. Anyway, the liver can be split into 4 lobes, or is considered to have 4 lobes, all of unequal size. But from a medical standpoint, and this is something I didn't really realise until I investigated after reading that letter, but it can be viewed into, or split up even further and viewed into 8 different segments. So reading now from Wikipedia, a liver segment is one of the 8 segments of the liver described in the widely used Cuinord classification. Yep, that's right, I did GCSE French. So this system divides the lobes of the liver into 8 segments based on a transverse plane through the bifurcation of the main portal vein. So yeah, there are 4 lobes of the liver. The Cuinord classification of liver anatomy then further divides the liver into 8 functionally independent segments. So that's interesting. So effectively, it's saying that each segment, so here we go, each segment has its own vascular inflow, outflow and biliary drainage. So they can almost operate on them by themselves, which is why the liver can be resected, and you can live normally with a resected liver, and in fact it does regrow as well, which is awesome. So in the centre of each segment there is a branch of the portal vein, hepatic artery and bile duct. In the periphery of each segment there is vascular outflow through the hepatic veins. The division of the liver into independent units means that segments can be resected without damaging the remaining segments. Which is great news, which makes the liver a blooming incredible organ, really, doesn't it? But anyway, so my tumours are in lobes 5, 6, 7 and 8, all on the right side of the liver. So you can split it up into a right lobe and left lobe as well. So the right lobe is where my liver disease is, effectively. So it is possible to completely resect the whole of the right lobe. So you can get rid of 5, 6, 7 and 8, all of that liver, and survive and regrow and live happily ever after. Now, whether that is what is going to happen to me, I'm not sure. That is obviously going to be the conversation with the surgeon, or whether they just try and remove the lesions or the tumours individually, leaving some of the segments intact. I don't know what best practice is. We will see. But yeah, that gives you an idea of where my liver disease is and how much of the liver is diseased. Yeah, I'm bigging up the left side at the moment. It's going strong. Right side's let me down quite a bit. But yeah, that's where we're at on that front. So going back to the letter, the dotatate scan, which is the nuclear scan that I got, so it basically lights up any cancerous cells, demonstrates somatostatin avid liver metastases together with a primary small bowel tumour and associated mesenteric lymphadenopathy. So demonstrates somatostatin avid liver metastases, so basically NETs related tumours in the liver, together with a primary small bowel tumour, we know that, and associated mesenteric lymphadenopathy. So I have mentioned in my previous video that there is a lymph node that also lit up on the dottate scan, so it's going to be removed as well. The mesenteric layer, on a very basic description level, is a layer of tissue that the small intestines attaches to, and that's where all the lymph system, the lymph nodes are located. So there is a swollen cancerous lymph node effectively on that mesenteric layer. So the assessment at the NET MDT was that all this disease is potentially resectable. We felt that this should proceed to the small bowel primary and then proceeding to liver resection. So as I've discussed before, splitting it up into 2 surgeries, the primary first and then the liver resection after that. Again, not sure exactly what the break in between is going to be. I'm hoping as short as possible, to be honest. Quick recovery, get in and get the rest of it out. That would be ideal for me, but yeah, we'll have to see what they find as well when they open me up. And you know, there's a chance that things could be worse, but yeah, we'll tackle that if it happens. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you that little bit of information, just to give a bit of a clearer outline of what's happening. So quite good for me to get it into video form and just to do a bit more reading up around it and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you after next week's, well, yeah, big week, as I say, and I'll let you know what's going on. So thank you very much, and obviously thank you again for your continued support. I'm sorry if I don't always get around to replying to everyone, but I promise you I do read all the comments, so I really do appreciate it. Anyway, thank you very much. Bye.